The island welcomes tourists again. 52 died. Risk for COVID-19 during a televised cabinet meeting, Health Secretary Francisco Duque said the reclassification was made after the nation logged a negative 74% growth rate in cases from February 1 to 14 compared to January 18 to 31. Duque also said 13 out of 17 regions, including Metro Manila, have been downgraded to low risk. Duque told CNN Philippines the capital region may de-escalate to alert level 1 in the first week of March.
It started to drop the number of cases, but we have to be mindful of the importance of adherence to minimum public health standards. If the safety seal certification is up to par by Thursday, hopefully by first week of March, baka pwede na tayo mag-de-escalate.
Cases could reach anywhere between 2,000 to 7,700 nationwide and 162 to over 1,000 in Metro Manila.
Kapag tayo ay sa ating mga kababayan, sa ating pong local officials, at sa ating mga kandidato, na sana po tayo lahat ay tulong-tulong para po mapanatili nating mababang kaso sa bansa by complying with all the safety protocols that we have issued through our guidelines.
In the meantime, the DOH says only 4 regions remain at moderate risk. These are the Cordillera Administrative Region, Western Visayas, the Davao Region, and Soc-Sargen. There is no guarantee the COVID-19 pandemic will be over before President Duterte's term ends. Is now working on the National Action Plan Phase 5. This outlines the next steps against COVID-19 and focuses on protecting the community while accelerating. The government admits even vote buying may now go cashless. That's why this early, the country's anti-money laundering agency or council is asking banks to keep an eye out on dirty cash online. Our senior correspondent Lois Calderon has more.
Not sell your votes. He can hunt you down even if you go high-tech. That's because the battlefield has widened to the digital space. But even transactions over GCash and PayMaya can leave a footprint. So regulators and the dirty money watchdog can trace big-time vote buying and selling.
There is an audit trail because electronic money issuers such as PayMaya and GCash are covered persons, and they are obligated to file covered and suspicious transaction reports. And whenever there is an investigation by the AMLC, we can also require them to present.
Doc explains that while the threshold amount that could make a digital transaction over GCash and PayMaya look suspicious is above 500,000 pesos, that trigger is not the only red flag.
One circumstance for filing a suspicious transaction is deviation from the profile of the customer. So, for instance, that could be a trigger.
Poll watchdogs like the PPCRV also ban voters at precincts from taking photos of their ballots, which often are used as proof for those who sold their vote.
Hindi pinapayagan sa loob ng voting precinct o ng polling precinct na kukunan mo ng retrato yung balota mo. Kaya i-report namin agad sa Board of Election tellers. Doon sa mga namamahala sa
Cybercrime Division admits it is challenging to classify if an act constitutes vote buying. Digital vote buying or selling. Joyce Calderon, CNN, Philippines.
At least 4 candidates will face off in a presidential debate hosted by the network of embattled religious leader Apollo Kibuloy. Ernesto Abella and Norberto Gonzalez are also joining Sunshine Media Network International, or SMNI's, debate tonight. Bongbong Marcos and Leody de Guzman earlier confirmed their attendance. Manny Pacquiao and Ping Lacson rejected the invitation Pacquiao flagged Kibuloy's child sex trafficking charges in the United States, while Lacson said at 5 p.m. the vice presidential and presidential debates live at the University of Santo Tomas, only here on CNN. Philippines, the highest office of the land.
Edited, unfiltered, coming.
Only 8 of almost 400 Filipinos in Ukraine want to return to the country. Details Welcome back to CNN Philippines. The groups behind the junked disqualification cases against presidential all three petitioners insist Marcos's failure to file income tax returns from 1982 to 1985 is a crime involving moral turpitude or against good behavior.
Participation of Commissioner Ferolino will further stain the process na meron ngayon. It will create and cast more doubts in this process.
Marcos's team told petitioners have not dropped former Vice President Jojo Binay and re-electionist Dick Gordon from its lineup. Will endorse Binay and Gordon. The Senate president says the tandem has already endorsed 11 senatorial candidates. The team of Senator Manny Pacquiao has filed a motion for reconsideration of Kibuloy. The pastor faces sex trafficking charges in the U.S. Pacquiao sued him last year after he alleged the center had misused government funds for the construction of the Sarangani Sports Training Center. Houses, hospitals, and schools in the entire Samar Island. One of the world's best
wrath last December, residents and business owners say the once vibrant island is almost unrecognizable. Fresco, a lodging place and restaurant in General Luna, has yet to open its
Ang Siargao na everyone expects siyang maging motivation for us to be strong kasi it is actually very hard for a lot of people. The trauma is very hard, not only the Typhoon Odette, pero yung aftermath no na you lost everything.
Siargao residents have yet to get back on their feet as they struggle to rebuild their homes. Avelina Note says she has started installing a new roof after the typhoon tore away the previous one.
Pag bagyo ng Odette, nagpa-check up kami sa Surigao City. Tapos dito kami inabutan sa Surigao City. Ngayon sa tinitirang ko, tanggal lahat ng bubong. Nang umuwi ako sa Siargao sa Dapa, tanggal din ang bahay namin. Pero sa ngayon, unti-unti kami nakakabangon.
Dr. Romina Rosillon sa Hulga, General Luna's assistant to the mayor, says the island is on the road to recovery, but she knows it will take time.
We still need roofing for the houses of
More
Tourists will flock back to the surfing mecca. Local officials and residents admitted the island's vibe now green. Chrissy de Matulak, CNN Philippines.
As business
after a day's work. With the pandemic and rising fuel prices, it's now down to more or less 300 pesos.
Madaling araw pa ako namamasada, ma'am. Alas
Some consumers suspect it's now pushing food prices up.
siguro dahil sa yung gasolina nga ganyan. Parang ripple effect kasi yan eh.
Hindi pa naman kasi yung distribution cost where they need fuel is only maximum of 5% among the all component cost component for the production ng manufactured food products.
A check at the market shows price increases for food items like cooking oil, flour, sugar, and canned goods.
Kasi dati itong mantika namin, ito 100 lang.
National market.
Kung flour ang dahilan, kasi alam natin na tumaas ang flour last year pa yan as early as March last year. So, hindi fuel ang reason ng increase ng presyo ng tinapay. Tapos yung cooking oil, it's the palm oil na imported vegetable oil, iba-iba yan eh.
The agency assures the public for consumers, whatever the reason may be, price hikes mean less food on the table.
Opo, budget na lang. Din po, kahit konti lang mo yung namin budget talaga.
Talaga ganun, tipid-tipid muna, ganun. Sasabihan mo na yung mga suki mo, kate, baka magtaas tayo ng piso.
Today, the South Luzon Expressway elevated extension project in Alabang aims to ease traffic in areas south of the National Capital Region. The major link, founded by San Miguel Corporation, is a 3-lane elevated expressway spanning nearly 4 kilometers.
I am personally excited to see the outcome of this expansion.
SMC President and CEO can accommodate an additional 4,500 vehicles per hour. In global headlines, the United States still hoping for a diplomatic resolution as it continues to monitor Russian forces at the Ukraine border. The White House says it remains open. Ukraine. The Ukrainian government also vowing to exhaust all diplomatic channels as it braces for a possible attack from Russia. Tomorrow, but despite the threat, only a handful of Filipinos
says his government won't be cowed by the threat of a Russian invasion is imminent. But for Filipinos living in Ukraine, there's no sense of panic among them as of now.
Yung sitwasyon naman po namin dito, okay naman po kami, tahimik. Wala po kaming nararamdamang tensyon.
She adds the Philippine Embassy constantly communicates with them and started opening up the registration for those who intend to go back to the Philippines. But out of the 380 Filipinos
yung mga decided na magbabalik ng Pilipinas, repatriate. Sinasabi nga, pero mostly kaming mga OFW. We are all undecided at siguro nga hindi kami uuwi talaga.
The OFW adds that most of them would rather stay in Ukraine than go home and face more. Office workers, chefs, or housekeeping personnel. Some Filipinos say their employers have obtained visas for them to another country in case they need to flee Ukraine. Other OFWs meanwhile have secured entry visas from neighboring countries rather than go back to the Philippines. Tristan Odalo, CNN Philippines.